right. I know. I did. I learned that at Crested Butte.
All right, guys. The call has officially started. Welcome to the Mortgage Coach Friday Mastermind. Every 9 o'clock, Friday Pacific, we're here to mastermind. Today, you have myself, Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. You have Todd Bookspan, founder of Win by Noon. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. It's great to be here, everyone.
Good to have you. And we have Jen Duplessis coming to us live out of where, Jen?
Washington, D.C. Virginia.
Virginia, Washington, D.C. So it is the Friday before Super Bowl. We would like to know, who do you want to win Super Bowl this weekend? Comments below, either in Facebook or in Zoom. We know Todd Bookspan wants anybody and everybody but the Patriots. So who do you want to win? I don't know. I like both teams. The Broncos are playing, so I don't really have a favorite team, but yeah, I'd like to see the Patriots win. I've got more friends that are Patriots fans, and I like Tom Brady. I want to see him kill it. Who do you want to see win?
I'm an AFC fan, so it has to be the team that I really don't want to win because I'm sick of them winning, but I'm an AFC fan, so gotta be the Patriots.
All right, comments below. Let's see what the Mortgage Coach community wants. So this is a topic-driven call. The core leaders, other than Michelle Town, are on the call today. So we're going to drive topics. One of those topics is going to be personal branding. I've been speaking a lot lately and getting questions from the audience, and they're coming around, oh, how should I use Facebook? How important is Facebook? And, how do I find out my personal brand? And so this Tuesday's call with Todd Bookspan and 4 amazing mortgage coach leaders, I would just say for anyone that is serious about personal branding for the sake of having and growing a personal brand and or generating leads on social media, it's a must watch. I don't care whether you're a ninja and you're killing it, you probably get an idea or takeaway. And if you're a beginner to an intermediate, you're gonna get a lot of ideas and a lot of clarity. So link down below if you're watching the recording. Todd, you were the leader of that. I listened to it this morning, so I do have some things I want to share about it. But what were your takeaways from the takeaways call?
It was pretty interesting, and I had sort of looked at where we started with everyone, right? Because when we were getting ready to prep the call, everyone said, "Hey, here was my top point." And I would tell you the most interesting thing about it, and you guys may or may not be aware of this, when 2 people watch the same thing, right, they often get 2 different takeaways. So what I loved is like John Downs, he took away from a conversation that Gary Vee had in his keynote with a realtor. She talked about how busy she was. She said, "I'm so busy, Gary. I don't know how I'm going to build my personal brand and do all this stuff. I am so busy, and I'm doing contracts and home inspections and counter offers." And it was interesting. My takeaway was stop doing stupid stuff. Gary didn't use that word. And I just believe that he said, even I do stupid stuff for an hour a day, and you probably do something stupid for an hour a day. Stop doing that, and then you don't have to worry about squeezing in more time. And so that was my takeaway, was actually my takeaway event, because what I realized is I'm doing stupid stuff for more than an hour a day, and I'm trying to get rid of that so I don't have to add anything else to my day. I can still spend my time on my morning routine. I can spend my time on my on-time, my family, my content creation. But if I just eliminate the stupid stuff, then I'm okay. Now, John Downs took away from that is your job is your job, because he told her, hey, your job is your job. And where he was going with that is you need to document over create, right? He talks about that a lot, Gary does. And that just means really filming what you do and then turn that around and make that your content. So I guess that's where I would start without summarizing everyone. I know you had some takeaways too, Dave.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do is this might go 30 minutes, it might be 15 or 20, but have a conversation, because I also want to hear Jen's thoughts on this, because she's put a lot of thought and really executed well at reinventing herself in the mortgage space as a coach and a leader. She's been this iconic top producer forever. And so, Jen, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this topic. But, I liked how Kristen opened it up with her number one takeaway was find my authentic voice. She said the word authenticity a lot. A word that I pulled from a conversation I had with Craig Sony lately was radical authenticity. And And so just this concept that, you know, whatever we do, we need to be radically authentic, and then we need to find our personal voice and build that personal brand. Now I did a sales rally. I spoke at a sales rally yesterday with about 100 people in San Diego. And I was going through the habits and the habits, what was it called? Habits and practices of top producers. And one thing that occurred to me as I was going through those in line, by the way, there's an article in my LinkedIn article on this, but it kind of came to me that if you did all the things that are in there, you have an awesome personal brand. Like, part of your personal brand should be my advice matters. So I do have an exercise for everyone. I'm going to show it on my screen right here. And I also have a personal favor. I just snuck in at the last minute. But I have two things. One, can you describe your personal brand? So in announcements, there are two posts. Can you describe your personal brand in 3 hashtags or less? And we've already got 5 people that have commented. And I posted that because after listening to Christian, I thought, okay, I want to find my voice, but how? And I think one way how is to get clear on what you want it to be. And then I think the other how is to go to customers and friends and ask them, hey, I'm trying to work on my personal brand. I'm creating content. I would love to know in 3 words or less how you see me and my personal brand today. So you have what you want, and then you have how you're actually being seen. And then I did put a post in here saying, can you describe my personal brand in 3 hashtags? I would love to know that, because I came away from listening to that going, good point, Kristen. I'm personally going to work on my voice, what I'm trying to do. I do know I've been very intentional about interviewing top producers and being the king of masterminds. You know, just so many amazing mortgage professionals, whether they're coaches like Todd, whether they're top producers, they're in our community. So part of my personal brand is to find the awesomeness within our community and then give that a voice. You know, whatever, I don't know what the word is for that, but that's been something that I've been intentional now for many, many years. It's funny, I didn't even think about this. I didn't expect this answer, but a good friend of mine and a leader that I respect, Jason Tucker, he said his personal brand is pizza, Jaeger, and Red Bull. You know, I mean, it's funny and it's a joke, but, you know, this guy is the chief marketing officer of, you know, one of the 3 largest title companies in the country. He's brilliant mastermind, or brilliant executive and leader. But if you follow him on Facebook, you know that he loves pizza. By the way, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I love coffee shops.
Coffee.
Yeah, you know, and not coffee, espresso, you know, cappuccino, macchiato.
Only the good stuff, though. None of this, no, you know, none of those name brand things with the mermaid.
No, well, I mean, Starbucks has good Pellegrino, and I could buy it with my app, you know, so when I'm traveling, I could, you know I could get some good food, and I know I could get a bottle of water, but no, I don't go there for coffee. But part of that is I like to invest in small businesses, you know, so I'm very intentional. Like, as much as I can, I spend my money with smaller businesses where I'm adding back to the local community. That's just a personal thing. So anyways, please post below. If you're watching this, go to our YouTube, not our YouTube, our Facebook group, 3 words or less. What is your personal brand in our Facebook group? And then do me a favor. What's my personal brand? I would love to know what you think it is. And I'm going to be working over the next couple of weeks on writing an article from that call that you did, Todd, and then helping the community get clear on their voice, get clear on their personal brand. Todd, anything you want to say before we get a download from Jim?
You know, a couple of things, right? So you talked about this local thing, and it was interesting. I was just, Emmett Dempsey, who's in our community. He's live on Facebook, and he was at the event as well. So I did throw in there, ask him what his takeaways were. So check those out in there, and I'll get back to him. But, you know, you just talked about the local thing, and that was one of the other quotes that I wrote down when I was preparing for that call. It was the first thing I wrote down, which was, whoever is closest to the consumer and provides what they want will win, right? And I think that that's that local piece, Dave, that you always talking about. That's where you always talk about, you know, looping back mortgage coach in and being that expert, but you always tie that word local in there. You've got some great way you say it, which I can, for some reason, never remember or write down when we're talking about it. But I think the bottom line is, I think you nailed it there, right? We're just talking about coffee, but in the end, that's what you guys want your realtors, you want your clients, your sphere, your database to think of you, that you are that ultimate local person. And that's important to them because you've made it that way by building your brand.
You know, Jen, yeah, I want to play off that before we give it back to Jen. I'm going to share my screen one more time. It probably won't be one more time. I'll probably do it more than one more time. But for now, it's one more time. So I also pinned to the top in announcements, one, a must-watch video, 10-minute interview I did with Steve Brown. Check it out. But I also pinned to the top a couple examples of great loan officers that are advisors, that use video, that have built personal brands. And I highly recommend you guys check these out. I'm going to focus on this one with Shannon, where she is in a chairlift, skiing, being an outdoors person. And she's talking about how she delivers advice with Mortgage Coach. But I do think that when you start to think about the words that you, who you are as a personal brand, there needs to be one or two that are business related. I would say my advice matters is one of them. And then there needs to be a few things that who am I as a human being in the local market that I live. I live in Portland, Oregon. Coffee's kind of a thing here. I promise you, I was not intentional. When I started putting pictures in Instagram, it wasn't like I'm doing this for business. I was doing it because I love great coffee shops and it's who I am and I wanted to track it. And I also happen to think that Portland, Oregon has the best coffee shops in America. So I came up with this hashtag called Portland Worthy, you know? So it's kind of a joke with my kids and my family. And now I get people all the time, you know, they're traveling around the country and they're like, Dave, I'm in Denver. What coffee shop should I go to? You know, but I do think looking back, it's served me professionally. You know, I think it's helped people connect with me, both on a professional level and a business level. So that's some direction, that's some thought. Todd, anything else before we bring Jen in?
Well, you know, I love your Portland Worthy, and it's, you got other people now using your hashtag, because I checked it out on Instagram the other day. That's super cool. So, and I've had the opportunity to experience it with you in Portland. We had some awesome cappuccino together, and I just order what Dave orders when I go out. I don't order my own kind of drink. I'm like, well, whatever he has must be the best.
Well, it's just what you want, you know. And if Starbucks or Pete's is what you want, it's the best. I'm not a snob. I just like what I like. So, Jen.
Go ahead.
No, you got one more thing.
No, the only thing I was just going to throw out there, right, is that it all comes back to that idea of transparency and being who you are, right, and knowing your voice. And, you know, it goes back to what I said earlier, is everyone had a different takeaway on that. And so Dave's voice is he loves coffee, right? You just said, now Justin loves pizza, right? Whoever you are, that's what you should be talking about as your part of your personal brand. Remember, since we're talking about Gary Vee in particular, right, his book is Jab, Jab, which is value, who you are, personal brand, then right hook. Oh yeah, I do mortgages as well, right? That's where a lot of you, I think, are struggling. I've had a lot of people tell me, well, I don't want to share my personal stuff on there. And if you look at Gary, he doesn't share anything about his family or his kids or his wife. He talks about them a little bit, but you don't see pictures of them. I've never seen what they look like. And you don't have to do that. But if you're only posting, check out my realtor's open house, hey, check out my great rates, and just business stuff, you're just not going to have people who follow you. And if nobody follows you, the Facebook algorithm is going to ignore you. So just be thinking about those things. And I would start watching those of us who were at the event. You know, Gary Vee always says, watch what I do and do it. And he says, if I'm putting 6 hashtags and you see me do that over and over again, it's because it's working. And so I think what you're starting to see is the people who are on the call, Jeff Zimfer, John Downs, Jason Frazier, Krista Messerly, and myself, I mean, we're all playing around to see what's going to work. And so you should be looking at what we're doing and commenting and giving feedback, because what works for us is what then you're going to want to work with too. Because ultimately I'm going after our community here. You know, John Downs is going after realtors and clients like a lot of you. So just kind of see what we're doing. And I would just start paying attention and then, you know, ask questions. Let's see what we can all do together to grow our brands.
Cool. So Jen, personal branding, What leadership do you want to bring to the call around this topic?
I think in the future, I'm going to start interjecting more often because I keep taking all these long notes and then I have to have this big debrief. Gosh, I have so much to talk about in this arena that, I was at a retreat in Utah last week with about 25 national and international speakers. It was and we're all coaches too. And so it was by invitation only, very high end kind of thing, and life changing. And I wouldn't say that it was a personal branding retreat, but it all aligns with this. And one of the things that I learned, and I'm going to share some of this with you because it will go right into this personal branding piece, which is what I'm right in the midst of coaching all my my group coaching people with, is that we live in a land of liars. We all walk around with a mask on. I mean, technically, we all could have a mask on and be walking around with it because we're hiding so much of who we really are. So I hate this word authentic because it's so overused now. It's just overused. So it's laying on this sword of truth, right? It's take the damn mask off. Be who you are. Be the truth. And I love, Dave, that you posted, give me 3 hashtags about me, and, or maybe Kristen did it. Several years ago, I did that. I was trying to sort of reinvent my brand as I grew as a team because, it was just Jen, and then it was me and my family, and then it was, all these people. And I was thinking, gosh, I think I've morphed into something different. And so I did an email to a handful of people that I really liked and I felt like I really wanted to have some response from, and said, if you could explain me in 3 words, what would that be? And I got all this nice masking crap, oh, you help people and you're really smart and you know your numbers and you always follow up and all this stuff, right? I don't even remember them all. What I remember is one word that came back from the owner of a Remax office that we had a marketing agreement with at the time. And he said, not present. And that one thing changed the direction of my entire career for the last probably 12, 13, 14 years. And that was really key. So I love this exercise that you're doing. And I really ask everybody who's listening, don't just post yours and say, I'm this and I'm that because I think that's what I am, or I think that's what you think I need to be. Find out from the people closest to you and say, take off the mask. I want this real truth. 3 words about me, good, bad, ugly, because you want it all, right? It's not how, and it's like this. It's not customer service anymore. I've talked about this, I don't know how many times. Customer service is what you do to people. You provide customer service. Customer experience is what people get and how they feel by working with you, right? So what you say about yourself, pretending to be authentic, pretending to be true, or saying, oh, I'm a go-getter when you're really not, right? I'm experienced when you're really not. When you push that out, that's like customer service. When you do it from the perspective of how people perceive you, that's when the magic really happens. And so I want to share, and so Todd, maybe you can type that in there for us since you have access to that for us, but go to the website called How to Fascinate. And it's a free test. You can take the $47 test, but go to that test on how to fascinate and you will find out how the world sees you rather than how you think you need to show the world, right? And so what will end up happening is your credibility will go up. You will no longer chase clients. They will be chasing you because now what you're doing is attracting the people that resonate with the true you. Not the you think you are, not the you that your manager tells you need to be, or your coach tells you need to be, or your parents told you need to be. The true you. And it's okay to be that because you just don't need all the other noise. And that gets down to what you were talking about, Todd, what you were saying before is like, stop doing the stupid stuff. My 3 hashtags, I've got lots of them, but I really want to do these, but shut up, stop talking, and get results, right?
Love it. So real quick, that was howtofascinate.com.
How to
Yeah,
fascinate.
and by the way, you can post it. Well, I'll post
Done.
it in both places, Todd.
All right.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. So, mine, anyway, it's really, and I'd be happy to help. I'll offer anybody. If you take that test and you send it to me, just IM me and put it in there, or however you want to send it to me, I will help you decipher it. And I'll help you get your message out there, because it's the difference between saying, and I'm going to use realtors, right? If you know of anybody who's buying or selling a house, I sure would like to hear from them. Right? Posts like that. If you know of anybody who's buying or selling a house, I'd like the referral. I don't care. I don't care. But if they posted, buying a house is tough. It's a tough process. But I have the negotiating skills to help you get through that maze so that it's as smooth as it can possibly be. Who do you know who's been through that maze or is about ready to go through that maze that wants a smooth transaction? Boom. All of a sudden, all the white noise goes away. The people that don't want that, because they want whatever they want, it isolates it, it hones in, it laser focuses your message. Because you know that you're a diplomat and a negotiator. But you might not be that. You might be a guardian. You might be someone who takes care of things. You need someone who's going to help you and hold your hand through the whole process. I want to be your lender, right? The white noise goes away. The people that want that, boom, come right to you. Make sense?
Makes sense. Hey, Jen, Knuckles, that was awesome.
Boom. Wait. Boom.
Yeah, right.
Figure out where my camera is.
There you go, girl. You killed it. That was, first of all, it was just from the heart.
Yep.
I know people dug that. I love that. I still want folks to play the game, and whether you're watching the video or you're live, put in what are the 3 hashtag words in terms of how you want people to see you or how you think people see you. And then please do me the favor. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should have put it out there. I hope good things come back. And by the way, because you threw in the one like not present. By the way, if you feel like that about me, throw it in there. I could delete it if too many people do it. So if you did put that in there about me, I might delete it. I'm just kidding. So that was really powerful, Jen. And Todd, your takeaways were huge. I think this is a super important topic because when I did that interview with Steve Brown, not last week, but the week before, he taught me a new acronym. Write this down. WACD. What Amazon can't do.
Yep, I saw that.
I did not realize, I knew that was a big deal, but he talked about the fact that if you are in the retail business, this is a well-known acronym. If you're Nordstrom's, this is your every meeting you're talking about what can we do that Amazon can't do. And I want everybody on this call, if you're in the mortgage business, I do think we need to think about Amazon, but who knows? It might be years till they come into our space. But when you think of Amazon, I want you to say big bank, online lender.
Yeah.
Well, I just metaphorically, if you're a referral-based local mortgage professional, when I say the word Amazon, I want it to mean to you, big bank, add that to it. I want it to mean online lender, like a Rocket Mortgage. I want it to mean the credit union in your market that's like buying the rates. They're like 0.5% lower. Think of that as everybody that is making a decision you compete with about price or speed. And here's the deal. To compete and win, I believe the most important thing is your advice and your personal brand. Those 2 things. So this is a very, very important topic that we really provide this leadership to help everybody get clear on what is my personal brand. I think it was a term from Gary Vee. I know I heard it from one of his interviews. There are riches in niches. Todd, was that I think you mentioned it in the takeaway call?
I did mention it was actually John Henry, and he's a super cool young kid in his mid-20s, and his story was really great. And if you look at Gary Vee's 6.5-hour vlog that he put up from the event. He's got that lunchtime. It's a 30-minute keynote from John Henry. It's worth watching. It's a great story. I've repeated the story out there. And so, you know, again, when you start talking about personal brand, I think that I love that whole, right, what Amazon can't do. I love what you said. That was your thing. Referral-based local mortgage professional. I don't know why I can't remember that, but I think that's, you know, comes back to what I said, right? If you have a personal brand and you know what your customer wants, you're going to win. And I think you have to continue to do that. You heard Jen talk about it, right? Don't say, hey, I want your referral. I think it's telling the stories about that, right? So I would take what Jen said about the negotiation if I was a realtor, and I would take it one step further, and I would tell that, I'd make that ask when I just finished negotiating the hardest deal of my life. You know, you guys have had those stories all the time where you're winning a transaction because you gave better advice, or you saved it because you had a different product or whatever that was. And that's a perfect time to throw on the camera, do a quick video, and talk about who you are, right? That's where you do the brand. You know what? I am, you know, Joe Smith, the XYZ mortgage, and I do hard loans like this one. And you tell that quick story. That is how you come in, because you're trying to resonate with that other person. So think through what Dave and Jen just said and kind of connect those dots of how you turn this into your personal brand as the person with the great advice, as the person who's local, as the person who solves problems, whatever that is you want to be known for, and who eats pizza and drinks coffee.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
right. Hey,
here's
Jen, let me comment one more thing, and then I'll let you and Todd go on this topic as long as you want. And then if, by the way, if you're on this call and you have other topics you want us to cover, bring them up. So just to summarize a few things around this topic. One, I want to remind everybody, we are now doing these Friday calls and our Tuesday calls on Facebook Live in this group. So check it out. We leave it in the announcement section for a couple days. Feel free to ask questions. Looks like 3 people have commented on, can you describe my personal brand, Dave Savage? So far, I like what I see. But remember, even if I'm not going to like it, but it's truth and it would be helpful to me, I want to know that. So share it with me. And I do recommend, I don't know that Facebook is the best place for this. To Jen's point, I think just some one-on-one emails, some one-on-one conversations. I'm going to ask my kids and my wife this question over the weekend. You know, what's my brand? You know, what are some words that describe my brand as a dad, as a mortgage professional? Like, you know, you guys watch me on Instagram. How do you think I'm coming off? So I recommend everybody goes through that process this weekend. Please, as a mortgage coach community, we want to know how you see your brand. So please answer this question. We've got 9 comments already. Great job, community. I would love to see 50 comments, 50 or more of you letting us know what it is. So if you're watching this on recording, go into our Facebook group, let us know what your brand is. I got that acronym, you know, WACD from, or WACD from Steve Brown. So I don't get credit from it. Former futurist and chief evangelist for Intel. It's only 11 minutes. To me, it's a must watch. It's a really, really good, good leadership from someone that I think is an incredible leader in our industry. Check it out. And then here's my ask for everybody in the mortgage coach community. You are creating videos, and some of those are jabs. Well, first of all, most of those should be jabs. Value, who I am. But some of them are right hooks. And I do think Jenny Stoner, this is an incredible right hook, where she is building a personal brand around my advice matters. So I would love to see some videos like this, the ones like Jenny, the one like Shannon O'Hare. I would love to see more videos like this from the mortgage coach community, where part of your brand is, I'm an advisor. You're bringing lifestyle and brand together in the same piece. So if you do anything like that and you share it in our group, let me know. I'd love to shine a light on it. And that's something that I'm passionate about helping you guys do more of. So Jen, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you. You know what? I want to take this challenge too. I'd love to hear what people have to say about me in a hashtag as well. But I do agree with you. I think, and you don't have to email me, just, you know, instant message me, I'm in there, right? But I'd like to hear it too. As a coach, right? As a leader, I'd like to hear what people think about what they see in this minimal time that we have every week, but it's accumulated, right, over time, because it helps me as well. I also want to share something with you guys. So this book is called Word Genius by David T. Fagan. David is one of my coaches. I have 5 coaches, so I'm not going to tell you how much I spend in coaching. But I have 5 coaches for a variety of reasons. And one of the things I absolutely love about this is it's a word genius. So when you run out of a word, it's better than a thesaurus because it's just bigger, badder, better. But I want to read to you really quickly some other words behind authenticity or the authentic word, because I want to make sure that you're really, really clear what this word means, okay? So some other words for authentic is actual, being actually you, right? Actual, certain. So part of being authentic is being certain about who you are, not just saying this is who I am and I'm not comfortable with it, so I want to mask it. I'm certain about who I am, right? I'm credible. I'm factual, genuine, legit, official, pure, real, true, and valid. Okay, so I wanted to just share that with you. You don't have to use the word authentic all the time. Yes, it's fine, but these other words I think go deeper into that because it's become so superficial. But I want to share something that Todd was just saying. I almost forgot it because Dave got in there. When you're talking about sharing the content, you know, that example I gave, and I think, you know, putting it in video is a wonderful idea. One of the things when I'm coaching people lately is that there's this lack of content. I don't have a lack of content. And I believe, again, we've addressed it here at some point in time, which is that, you know, you're asked a million questions every day. And every one of those questions becomes content, right? You just have to have an awareness that you're being asked these questions. So maybe keep a pad of paper next to you or something that, you know, every question you get asked, could that be turned into content? And I think at the end of the day, what you're going to find is you were asked 20 times about credit and about paying off a collection. It's time to do content around that, right? So content's really easy that way. The other awareness you want to have is the awareness about the problems that you're solving, as Todd just mentioned. You know, so if you're solving problems, so it's not just the information that's coming to you, but the information that you're also giving back out, that becomes your content as well. So don't think that all the work that you're doing behind the scenes is just normal day-to-day stuff. This is real quality information that you need to get out there that says that, you know, my advice matters, right? And then the last thing I want to do is I just want to caution you on something, because I saw these little hashtags and some of them were really cute. And I was like, oh, look at that one. I like that. You know, in our industry, we tend to steal from other people, and that's okay. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but I'm going to give you a quick story. Somebody commented on something I posted some time ago, you know, 5-6 months ago. And I was like, oh, well, who is this guy, right? And so I clicked in it. And I went to his profile, and he was in the mortgage business, and he had cut and pasted a yellow ribbon that I had made for me more than 10 years ago that says experience matters. And it was part of my brand. Everything I did, every picture, everything, I had this little yellow ribbon on the bottom, and it said experience matters. Now, before that, I was your hometown mortgage advisor, right? So I had this hometown mortgage advisor, and then I went into experience matters. So I started snooping through his profile. You know how long he'd been in the mortgage business? 5 months. 5 months. So great idea, exciting to see, right? And I get that. When you have a fun idea and you go, hey, that resonates with me, great, take it on. I ask you, please make sure that it aligns with your brand. It aligns with your genius zone, right? Todd was just talking about, oh my gosh, I just thought I forgot what I was going to talk about. But it aligns with your, the niche to grow rich. You know, in my practice, I did 3 things. I did jumbo loans, I did veteran loans, and it was great if they were veteran jumbo loans, and I did investor loans. And I did those for a very specific reason. I hang out in the jumbo world. You know, I happen to have a big house and I hang out in the jumbo world, right? I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I was surrounded by military, so it became part of my world. My husband's father was a military man, so I have a soft spot in my heart for military, and I'm a real estate investor. So I have a real great expertise in investor financing. Those were the three things that I pitched out to everybody. I did all the other loans, but that's what I pitched. That's what I attracted with people. And so if you're going to take someone's idea and you look at all these great hashtags they're going to be putting up there and you want to take it, make sure that it aligns with you. Please take that fascination advantage and but ask people around you, put together right when you're done today. Todd says every time when we're done with this call, spend a half an hour taking action, right? Type up a quick email that says, friends, I need your input, not a favor, never a favor, always help. I need your input. I need your help. Can you give me 3 words, 3 hashtags, whatever you want to say, 3 hashtags that describe me, either personally, professionally, or both? Open it up for everything. And by the end of this weekend, you're going to have your 3 hashtags. You're going to have some clarity on who you want your brand to be, and it will align with you. And you won't have this fighting and this distraction of not stealing, but taking and wondering and grabbing where everything's going to come from. But instead, you're going to be totally aligned so that you can move forward very quickly, now in the 2nd month of the year. So
that was huge. So Jen said so much stuff that I really loved. And, execute is one of the biggest things. It's funny because I had a loan officer tell me yesterday that she's struggling because she's been recording these videos and then she puts them on Facebook and they turn the wrong way. And how do you fix it? And I'm like, I have no idea. The way I fix it is I've got over 100 hours I documented last year. So I went to Agent 2021 last year. Gary Vee says document, don't create. And then it's been sitting there. It's all in a Dropbox. I'm like, I need someone to cut these videos down. I don't have time. And so think about what are the excuses that are stopping you from executing them. Typically it's time because you say, I'll do that later. So again, Jen said what I always say, which is do it right when we get done with this call. And then you'll start to notice I'm doing a ton of lives right now. I mean, I'm probably doing a minimum of 1 a day, but some days I'm doing 2 or 3 because I do some lives and some private groups and some secret Facebook groups and whatnot. And I decided to do that because for me, my biggest struggle was actually then repurposing it and getting it up. I don't have the help to do that. And so I'm just overcoming it by doing it live. Now, would it be better if it had a fancy intro and if I cut it down and made it a little more concise? Absolutely. But at least I'm getting it done. And so it's that whole idea of document over create. I mean, Jen's advice to make sure that you answering those questions you get all the time. I mean, think about that, right? She mentioned credit. Every time you get that credit thing, record it next time, right? Literally have an iPhone sitting there, hit record while you're explaining it to the client over the phone. And then that's your video. And then all you need to do is send it to the next person who's got it. You might even make it a post on Facebook. You might even put it onto YouTube or your website, to sort of knock it in there. And then I did love, go ahead. What else?
Instagram. So it's called a daily digital deep dive. And so you do the live or recording, you put it on YouTube or Facebook, right? You then, you can also upload it into LinkedIn if you want to put it in LinkedIn. And then what you do is you do just a quick, use your hashtags and whatnot. Hashtag pay off, do I pay off a credit collection or whatever. And then in Instagram, you'll take a picture of your video and then you'll have a link back to that video, right? In Twitter, you're going to say, hey, check out my video. Should I pay off my credit, my collection or not? Link back to a video, that same video, so that you're crossing all of those, not just putting it in one place.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really key. And then the only other thing you throw in there is you hear Dave talk about all the time, right? I mean, we've got this community. He's got the YouTube channel where he's got all the videos, and then he's doing these articles on LinkedIn. So think through too, could I take that credit advice and turn that into an article? Of course, after sending it to compliance, so they look at it first, so that it contextually matches up to the platform. Because ultimately, in the end, they do make it different, right? When you're doing different videos, right? Like this video I'm doing right now is horizontal, but if you're actually going to put something live on Facebook, they say to do it vertical, right? Up and down, and then you got square obviously on Instagram, but then you have big, tall, rectangular things on Instagram stories. And there's just so many different things going on out there with these different platforms. And so my commitment to all of you is I'm continuing on this journey now. I'm just going one platform at a time, so I get really good at one before I try to spread myself too thin as I have done in the past. And so my deep dive right now is Facebook and Instagram, and then I'll start playing with some other stuff. Of course, you should check it out if you go to one kid tells me they're GIFs, someone else tells me they're GIFs. But if you actually go into Instagram stories now or Snapchat, I didn't know I was that cool, and you click on the little GIF button, then you can type in win by noon and you get that win by noon GIFs. They're kind of, not like my kid thinks I'm cool now. So that's all that really matters.
That's funny. Well, and I think, it's valid. I mean, what you're saying is valid. And, what I'm saying is too, it depends on your level of, ability to be able to expand across these different lines and say the right things, and ask the right questions so that you get the interaction. I think that, if you all get a chance to go to my Facebook page not last week, but the week before, I was in Heber, Utah for this summit. And I did a Facebook Live interview with a social media guru, and it was absolutely hilarious. We were holding the phone 20,000 different ways and couldn't get our faces right. There was something weird with what Facebook did. As soon as we started fine, and then it was weird. I was holding the phone like this to get a picture of him behind me. It was just the craziest thing. You would not believe all of the views that have been on that, because it's and it's funny. I was talking to a partner of mine, and he said to me, you talk about doing videos, and I said, yeah, well, one day I'm gonna do my hair straight, and then I'm gonna change my clothes, curl it, and it'll all be on the same day, but people will think it's not on the same day. And he goes, you're ridiculous, because you're living in the land of liars, right? Because you're talking to everybody about doing videos. He goes, you got to do it. And I said, all right, fine. So I hung up the phone, and I did a video on procrastinating about doing videos. And I posted it, and I had tons and tons of views on it. So I beg you, please just get your message out, get it out there, share it with the world, because somebody out there is waiting for you, waiting to hear what you have to say, and you're depriving them of that.
Well, I think that's really key. And I do like the sharpening you gave, is that, right? Don't think, oh my gosh, I can't post it to LinkedIn because I got to make it an article. I think Jen's totally right. Get it out there. Because again, you're better off having it out there and not having to be perfect. And I think that's what holds a lot of us back, right? The whole idea that good is better than done is really critical. I love it. Will Rudolph is saying KISS, right? The keep it simple, stupid, concept. And, I think that is so, so important. I got someone asking on Facebook, Facebook personal page versus Facebook business page. I've got an opinion on it. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, well, and I'm learning about this too. And I'm trying to speak up because I heard somebody say that I wasn't talking loud or something. Yeah, I mean, your business page requires all the compliance. Your personal page, you can do some other things. I personally think that everything can be done on, personally should be done on your personal page, and business should be done on your business page. I just do. I mean, I do, but I'm in a different space now, so I have a different, opinion on that now. But as a lender, I would keep it separate. I would completely keep it separate. And if it means that you have to do a little more work to get more people to like your page, then you have to do a little more work to get people to like your page, to get more people on them. I mean, my challenge right now is, I didn't know that you can max out on Facebook, and I've maxed out, and I max out every 4 days or so, and I have to go in and delete people and unfriend people. But thankfully, we all accepted friendships in the beginning because we were so excited. Yes, Murphy, right? So I'm going in and saying, if I don't even know this name, they're out. But it doesn't happen when you have your own page. There's no maximum. So if you're going to continue to grow and not be, what I always say, a 10-1 loan officer in the business for 10 years, 1 year at a time, or be somebody in the business and it grows 10 years incrementally and beyond, then do the forward thinking, go where the puck is. The puck's you're going to have more than 5,000 people at some point. So you might as well go there now. Well,
I would throw two things in there, right? The reason you want to have a business page, and one of my big things is do these live videos where you talk about something, someone you helped, and then see what gets the most reaction, because on a business page, then you can boost that to your clients, right? So you can upload your database by phone number and email into Facebook's Business Manager, right, to the ad page. And then you can actually then run that boosted post just to your database, so they know what you're talking about. They see you and it comes through as a sponsored thing, but even if they don't watch it, they go, oh, hey, look, there was Jen. And oh gosh, I got to get a loan. Let me call Jen. And you're just trying to remember that. You're trying to get them to remember you. The other thing I would say, and again, Jen, I see this now because I'm probably getting 2 or 3 friend requests a day. And I'm not saying this to tell you how to accept friends, because I get the people who have like only 3 profile pictures from the last, 7 years, and they don't ever post. So obviously they're probably fake posts, or sometimes they look kind of like real people. They're all friends with some of you who are watching. But what I would tell you is make sure that your profile looks right, because we do know that everyone is going and they're looking you up. So when your realtor says, hey, call, Joe Smith, they're going to look you up on Facebook, and they're going to see who you are. And so you've got to make sure that you actually have a little bit of representation about you and what you believe on there. And I agree with Jen. I mean, for me personally, my goal is going to be over the next month or two. Again, it's not an urgent thing, will be to put up a Todd Bookspan business person page. If you look, Dave Savage did it last year. And I'll start posting more of my stuff there, and then I'll share it back to my personal page when I choose to, kind of as the right hook. I won't be there all the time, because really sounds kind of odd as, yes, you want to live transparently, and I'm a goofball, right? I mean, I post goofy things. Yesterday I posted that my daughter thought my new gift things were really cool. And what I realize is I do a little bit less of that when I see the flashbacks to 7 years ago. Like, I was really bad at Facebook. My kids still tell me that today, that I'm bad most of the time. But like, I did more like, oh, I'm at the movies. Oh, I'm here. And I did a little less of that. So it reminded me that that's part of who I am transparently. And I got to bring back that goofy old Todd that, whether people like it or not, it's just who I am.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point too. And when we talk about being true, right? Being true. One of the things that I learned so well, and I was even talking about this on a coaching call last night, is what I learned from, and I know it's out there everywhere, but what I learned from Tim Brahim was, living above the line or below the line, living in abundance or scarcity. And I think that what we think a lot of times is that, and I know I did, I mean, in all transparency with me, is that, I'm a strong woman. I'm an alpha woman. I've always been successful. I've always had this drive to be that way. And not everybody has to have it. I get that. It's just what I have, right? But part of that was, I am woman, hear me roar, that stupid pose that everybody does, a Wonder Woman pose. I don't need anybody's help. I got this. I got this. But that's actually coming from a place of scarcity, not from a place of abundance. And it's counterintuitive to my thoughts, because I was like, no, I come from abundance because I don't need anybody. I got this. I'm not scared. But where the scarcity is when you're afraid to reveal the real you. And so if you've got this armor on or this mask, it's time to just start poking holes in it here and there, and just let the little things shine on your Facebook page. You don't have to go all out and say, I did a polar bear plunge in my bikini and I don't want anybody to see me. It's not that. It's just poking little holes, and avoiding, if you can, whenever you see somebody's post, the like and the cool comments, like the comments that go, cool, sweet, nice, da-da-da. Put a little bit of a sentence in there. Put some heart behind it and connect the head with the heart, because that's where people are going to start seeing that real you come out. And there's just baby steps. It's not big steps, just little baby steps. Go in and really have a heartfelt comment on what people are posting. And I think that that's going to really resonate, and your brand will just reveal itself, when you do.
I think that's really awesome advice. I think, I do love and respect. I mean, you guys have to understand how busy Jen is. Like, she's not like, like David and I go speak at mortgage stuff. Like, Jen's speaking at like real big deals outside of the mortgage space. So, that's just super cool. But I think, again, this whole conversation around transparency, you just have to sort of plug yourself in where you think that belongs. Because again, if you go back to where we started this call talking about Agent 2021, I mean, most of those takeaways from the people that were on panels there were all around transparency. Your job is your job, find your voice, stop doing stupid stuff. I mean, just really take that, the whole checkup from the neck up and see how you're doing in all of this. And then just, dive in. I think that there's just so much opportunity as we head into this year. It's kind of interesting. I don't know about you, Jen, because, it sounds like you're, I know you're doing a lot of coaching still, but here we are. You guys are. This is the 1st of February, right? We're already 1 month in. How are you doing? Are you on track with where you want to be in order to hit your goals at the end of the year? Are you behind already? Like, what does that look like? Or are you actually ahead? I'm in some loan officer specific Facebook groups where people are sharing their numbers, and I would tell you that the majority of them are behind. And I would tell you, even when I look at our own team here, my team is projected to do like a 55% increase, right? Big increase, but they're not there yet after January. That's really where they have to get the momentum going, right? Momentum is going to be that word. So what are you telling your clients, Jen, as we kind of head into this, we got 9 minutes left. I mean, any words of advice on just how to look at January to make course corrections to make sure that they're crushing it between now and the end of the year?
Yeah, before I answer that, I'm going to give you something else too. Is I want to give everybody a quick challenge. We were just talking about posting stuff, just so that I can tie a bow around that. That's what Dave always says. Tie a bow around it. So I'm going to challenge everybody to post something. I want to make sure that I phrase this right. My goodness. I just want you to post something that's not in a positive light, but hear me out on this. The problem with Facebook is everybody's all posting the good stuff. Look, I got married. Look, I won this, right? Look, I just closed a deal, right? It's all great, great, great. Post something that says, okay, I'm posting this to you because I'll give you an example. I'll do it right now. I'm posting this because, about 8 weeks ago, I got Invisalign, and it drives me nuts that I can't talk with this one in my mouth. I have the bottom one in. I don't have the top one in because I lisp, and I lisp even more when I have this cockamamie thing in. So how many of you have thought about doing Invisalign? I just want to share it with you. Now, I'm doing it all because I wanted to have my teeth prettier and all that. But I got to tell you, I like them, but I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that's good. So two quick things. Number one is Tim Brahim's watching. He missed the fact that you gave him a really positive shout out about 10 minutes ago. So good to see you here, Tim. And then number two is someone's asking if you could repeat your digital deep dive steps that you talk through, do the live, and how you would post that out.
Yeah, sure. So, okay. So the question is, should I pay off my collection? So I'm going to do a video. Hi, it's Jen. Listen, I get asked this question all the time about paying off collections. And it's a really funny myth about this. And what people don't understand is yada, 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 right? So go ahead and do a 1.5 to 2 minute video, do it live, do a video, whatever you want to do, post it on Facebook. You can go to Temi, T-E-M-I. You can have that video transcribed for about 40 cents. And now it becomes a blog. Now it becomes a post in LinkedIn, if that's what you want to do. Take out your ums and things like that, and take it over to LinkedIn. If you want to do a video at LinkedIn and then backlink it to Facebook, that's fine. Then go to Instagram, take a picture of you doing that, or get a picture from, there's a great place called depositvideos.com, depositvideos.com. They have the best videos. They're licensed. You won't have any issues. Take a credit report picture and put it up there on Instagram, and then say, check out this, and do the link, and that, and check out my for more details, do this, or another mortgage myth busted, right? And then from there, go to Twitter and just say, should I pay off my collection before talking to a lender? ? To find out the answer, go to this link.
Well, and I love that. And I love that you mentioned Temi, right? It's artificial intelligence where they transcribe. Dave and I have talked on here before about rev.com, but they charge $1 a minute. Temi's only 10 cents a minute. And it will absolutely highlight your ums and ahs, like Jen said. So you're just going to have to edit those things out. It's funny. I use that as a way for me to look back. I don't like to watch my videos, but now I'm reading it, and Temi, I'm transcribing what I do and attempting to sound more intelligent. You guys see it's not working. I understand that. However, believe it or not, if you watched a video from a year ago, I promise you that today's video is slightly better, maybe just slightly.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to that. So I'm going to challenge everybody, you know, put something out there that shows like the other side of you, you know, that isn't the perfect you. And people are going, you watch, people are going to, you're going to have more views, more comments, more likes. I promise you, you are, because you're being real. Okay. So that's, I just want to close that out. So what am I telling everybody? I'm really in this space of, think of a hot air balloon and it's being tethered right to the ground. Think of those tethers. So I'm having all of my clients, talk about what's tethering them, what's stalling them. And we had done a post, I mean, not a post, but one of these calls several months ago, where I talked about, you know, the 8 provoking strategies to jumpstart your business. And one of them was, why are you stalled and why are you tolerating it? So we're talking about the tethers. What's holding you back right now? Because, look, I had been in the business just way too long to believe that anything had to do with the market, period. If you build a solid base, a solid foundation that you can rely on, whoever that is, working and aligning yourself with the right people, then it doesn't matter if rates are great or not, or the market's hot or not. You're always going to have a certain amount of business that's coming in. And so I'm trying to get people to recognize these tethers. So if you're drawing it, you know, draw it on a piece of paper and draw a bunch of lines. You have 50 lines, you have 50 lines. If you have 4, that's fine, but be true about your answers here. What is holding you back? Are you afraid to call your past clients because you never have? Are you afraid to call realtors because you heard that everybody else is calling them and you threw up on them and so you don't have anything to say to them? Are you afraid to call financial planners because you really haven't honed in on your skills with Mortgage Coach to the level that you should be? I mean, what is it that's tethering you back? And I want you to go a little deeper and say, what limiting beliefs do you have? Do you think you're not worthy to be successful? Do you think that you're not pretty enough to be successful? You're not handsome enough to be successful. You don't have the right apps, the right this, that, and the other. The bottom line is this whole business is about people. You don't need anything. You don't need to go into an appointment with somebody with even a piece of paper. You can explain everything. You follow up with stuff because it looks great and I love all of that, but you don't need it. You need you present. And so if you can snap and cut these limiting beliefs and these tethers that are holding you down, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And that's what we're looking at right now, is saying, I am just so tired. And I said this several weeks ago. You got to get sick of this. You got to be sick of this. I am sick of it and I'm over it and I'm ready to move on. I'm cutting these suckers and I'm going to fly. And that's where I want everybody to be, because you got the potential in every video we've ever done for the last 2 years. It's all there. You just got to figure out what's holding you back so you can start succeeding and reaching the heights that you want. So that's what I'm
Love
doing.
it. All right, so we got 1 minute. I want to say, first off, Jen, if people want to reach out, learn more about all the stuff that you're doing now, where's the best place for them to go?
The best place is just to go to Jen Duplessis on Facebook and instant message me.
There we go. There we go. All right. So I appreciate all of you guys being here. My goal was for you guys to get value, really kind of rewind and kind of covering a broad band of topics. And I think we accomplished that. Love any feedback that you all have. On behalf of Dave Savage and Mortgage Coach, Todd Bookspan with Win by Noon, Jen Duplessis with herself, we appreciate y'all being here and look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, take care.
Go out and execute.
All right, take care. Bye.